Well, hello everyone. Happy Cinco de Mayo for those observing. I certainly am. mean, I got some leftover over nachos asada in the fridge to reheat. Hecho Mexico Ho Cooling, and I just got back from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And my first thoughts of this review after seeing it's your move, Flash and Blue Beetle, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. And there are going to be some minor spoilers, but I'm not going to go over every single thing that happens in this 150-minute conclusion to James Gunn's Tyrant Marvel and Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, so let's get started. The film largely focuses on Rocket Raccoon, who, on top of being targeted by his creator, High Evolutionary, played by, forget his pronunciation, Chukwudi Iwuji, who previously collaborated with Gunn on the hit show Peacemaker, her, on top of the evolutionary wanting any lengths to get him and what he knows back, like if it means the end of him. It also deals with his identity, about how he came to be, and they hinted at the cybernetic and genetic experiments and that were illegal in the first volume, way back in 2014. But actually physically seeing that and the extent of that, what that did to him, explains everything about why the way he is, and why he enters in the present timeline to the acoustic version of Radiohead's Creep, especially. Yeah. And as I was putting the playlist together, which I shared on my community tab, and several of the tracks from it, let's just say that the music plays the probably biggest part in the plot. It's like it doesn't just connect to who the story and their characters, but also specifically for the events on screen. And let's just say that once you actually physically hear why they chose Space Hogs in the meantime, we got that slower tempo version in the first trailer, and Rainbow Since You've Been Gone, among others. It all made perfect sense, and that's also all compliments the score by John Murphy. I'm not sure what happened to Brian Tyler. I guess he might have a scheduling conflict. But of course, it doesn't just give me confidence in how they'll handle the X-Men going forward, or the Multiverse Saga and beyond, but also they might handle a potential reboot of Howard the Duck. I'm not going to say why, but if you go see the movie, you'll definitely know what I'm talking about. Count on that. James Gunn is by no means the first director, nor the last in this franchise to have, even under the structure of the big IP, his creative fingerprints on it, and that he is arguably the most prominent. And what he's got planned for DC after the reboot with Peter, her Saffron, I definitely eager to see what he brings to the table. And even though in the end of the universe, several actors are going separate ways from the franchise, they have expressed interest in joining James at DC. What do you think about plenty of characters whose they could be, and not just big names that everyone's probably going to be wanting to see. He, a whole bunch of lesser known ones, but I'm not going to get too much detail about that right now. The cinematography, of course, is spectacular. And how they experiment with the color palette, and also the fact that James Zilli decided to not use the volume, like with Mandalorian and Quantumania. There'll be another time to address those. Saying, Hayne, it goes for a more traditional blend of both digital and practical effects this time around, and just as how far they've come in the last 9 years alone with not just Rocket, but also his cellmates, including his lover Lila Otter, who was also in the comic as well. Not certain if it was exact circumstances, these kind of experiments, but there'll be a time just in spoiler review after Extreme D Plus. And also, like, the Counter Earth, which is this colony that the Evolutionary built, and it resembles like a space alien version of Earth in the 80s. And like the cars, the props, the way they dress, and this pusher who looks kind of like a cephalopod, odd, like that infamous PSA. Hey, like the guy suddenly turns into a snakehead. You might have seen, and yeah, and I'm not gonna get into much detail right now, but the idea that the evolutionary would rather obliterate the problems rather than fix them, not really a stretch. At first, it seems like he doesn't know what's going on outside his compound, but then there's a moment that says that he does, and he doesn't care. So, and the way he views who's any failure is inferior, again, that gives me confidence in how they're going to handle the X Men going forward. Yeah. And even though these characters are going separate ways, some of them have expressed interest in showing up in the future. I mean, I'm not saying like a Volume 4, but I would not surprise me if some of them show up in like the Kang Dynasty or Secret Wars going forward. All the same, in a way, they were right. They'll all fly away together in that bright, big, beautiful sky. This is easily a great end of the trilogy and the MCU's hidden heart. They got this ambiguous thing down pat. Even the quality's kind of gone up and down like Godzilla and Bond have over the years, man. So, I give this a stellar 4 out of 4, and now on to some coming attractions. So, to keep things chronological this time around, I'm going to skip over the Covenant given how that's been out for a while, and Highline already has been another one that's been stomped out by Mario, much like so many Goombas and Koopas, as with Fast 10, or Fast X, whatever way you want to call it. I haven't seen Fast 9 yet, but so I'll have to watch that all the way so I know what's going on. But I think over the many years, I have kind of found myself strangely drawn to the excess of, in particular, chaos of these Fast and Furious films. Like how creative some of these car scenes have gone, and how the action has shifted from purely being street racing focused to, in particular, heist movies, the same vein as an extra bullet. Hey, the moment I saw Jason Momoa rolling through traffic with a giant metal bowling ball and Vin Diesel as Dom yanking helicopters out of the sky with his car, I said I could get behind this. And I definitely can see this doing pretty well for itself. As one part of the two-part series finale, with the next one coming out in 2025. So let's continue. June 9th, Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. I mean, of course, I'm still interested in this one, and I'm not certain about the mess reports. Where's about this one? Like how, at the very least, it looks totally closer to Bumblebee than the other live-action films, and I think it could surpass the 07 one. At the very least, with Unicron in the mix, I think it could potentially be the best one since the animated 1986, which was, at the time, looked down on for being what was many dismissed as an 81-minute movie by a toy, which technically isn't wrong. I would respond, what the heck is wrong with that? And with that being the case, I would definitely be interested in getting tickets whenever I go live, and I would say, well, that's just prime. I've addressed this one a few times before, so let's keep going. Elemental, June 16th. As one of the many, many movies that the Mouse is releasing to celebrate their centennial, this is like the second and post-pandemic theatrical release for Pixar after several of their films, good ones too, became D Plus exclusives, and even though their more recent theatrical items underperformed, though I did like them in case of both Lightyear and Onward. I definitely think that this one has a chance to really stand out by its great concept, an unconventional love story about the elements themselves, so yes, we'll be going when it opens. Especially also liking like the whole Carl's First Date short as well, which now that way is saying goodbye to the Upverse, especially with the passing of Ed Asner. I mean, I also understand totally why they and Dr. Peter Song are rolling the dice with this idea. I mean, yeah, especially in later light years in her performance, which a lot of people say is a learning experience, and I agree with what I said. I mean, basically, we tried. I had the safe route back. The safe route back didn't lead anywhere. It's time. I need to roll the dice. So here we go. I'm less confident in the other film coming out that date. Hate the Flash. I mean, even disregard hurting the any problems with the lead, IRL, and the very very dumb things said and done by the people in charge at Warner Brothers right now. How, from a quality standpoint, I just don't buy what they're claiming in at all. I mean, they keep saying it's like The Dark Knight and No Way Home, but it's more like they're trying to actually coast on those films' success and acclaim rather than actually trying to make something of that caliber. I keep saying at best it looks like the infamous Justice League, at worst it looks like Green Lantern. And I mean, even though this is one of the first films that they announced for this franchise, now one of the last ones that's coming out before they reboot it after this year, it still looks very rough, unfinished even. I mean, which also renders their unreleasable argument for Batgirl even more meaningless. I mean, clearly, what you deem as unreleasable and what I deem as him are quite different, fellas. I also saw that statement that David made. I mean, he's like, seriously, release that film and meet with the striking writers, and then we'll talk about it being Miller time for bygones. On a slightly, hey, less egregious note, we have the Blue Beetle coming on August 18th, which was another one that was going to be digital before they shipped to theaters, which begs a question about what they consider to be unreleasable. Like, again, I don't have anything against the cast or director. I mean, I think the solo person has been very good on Cobra Kai, but I don't know. Sometimes success on TV does not always translate to success as on film, as we learned in the previous decade from Taylor Kitsch, who did really well on Friday Night Lights, but both the movies he headlined and bombed that year, in the Kiss John Carter and Battleship. And I know a lot of people had issue with George Lopez's his attitude towards Batman, but all I was thinking about is like, wait, which one are we talking about? Are we talking about Keaton? Are we talking about Affleck? Are we talking about Pattinson? Who? And again, I've seen other. Again, I'm also not buying the Spider-Man or Iron Man comparisons either. This reminds me a lot of more of Green Lantern in the worst possible ways once again. As a lesser known character who has built in fans, yet people like me don't really have much more than casual knowledge at. So basically, I just makes me want to just stay home, watch Upgrade instead. The whole concept of like a device being implanted in someone's spine and basically turns them into a superhero, more or less. But that's none of my business. Anyway, I'm probably just gonna go see Ninja Turtles in August instead, and for the time being, due to circumstances of my control, I will not be doing the follow up on Horizons I had initially envisioned talking about. So instead, I'll be putting my energies towards my full Pokemon Scarlet and Violet ahead of it going live on the 18th, and hopefully finally catch those Iron Leaves. And I will definitely show again soon as we fly away together in that great big beautiful sky. We are Groot.